Good Friday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we are going to be going over our Thanksgiving forecast for 2024. So make sure to stay tuned till the end so that way you guys know what to expect as we head into Thanksgiving. Now, some of you guys might still think it's a little bit early for this because we still got about 6 days to go before we head into Thanksgiving. But the reason why I'm doing this is to let you guys know and even give you guys some good ideas on what we can expect as we head into Thanksgiving. So like I said, make sure to stay tuned to the end so that way you guys know all that, and make sure to subscribe down below so that way you don't miss out on any future weather updates that I do. And of course, we'll keep you guys up to date as we head into Thanksgiving. It just won't be a Thanksgiving forecast. And of course, make sure to click that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any future weather updates either. And my winter forecast will also be coming out tomorrow, so definitely make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so that way you don't miss out on that. But let's start talking about this Thanksgiving now. And as you guys can see, on November 28th, this is during the morning and as well as the middle of the day on Thanksgiving. And we're going to kind of have, a little bit of an interesting system right here that's gonna be bringing snowfall to the Ohio Valley, Midwest, and even areas down here towards the deep south could really see some of that rain and storm activity. So, we will keep an eye on it very closely. Some of this is obviously gonna start to track up the East Coast too as well as it continues to move farther to the east and northeast, and some of this is even gonna start to move farther down to the southeast too as well, to where places like Alabama, Georgia, and as well as the Carolinas could really get on some of that rain action as well. So, this is going to be an area to really keep an eye on very closely as we head into Thanksgiving. Still remains a little bit uncertain on what exactly the storm will do, but I think we got some pretty good ideas on, what we can expect. And this is also because a lot of the models really agree with a winter storm and as well as a storm system setting up like this. So, like I said, we will continue to watch it very closely. Don't be surprised if a few things do change, but this is definitely something, like I said, to really be keeping an eye on very closely. So, like I said, we will definitely keep an eye on it for you. And then here's the wind forecast for Thanksgiving, and this is the only model that I could find that will track sustained winds this far out. And this is with the European model. So by the time we head into Thanksgiving, we're going to have a big area of sustained winds of at least 10 to 15 miles per hour across this entire blue color right there that you see. And, even these green colors that you see, especially down there in Texas, that's going to be the area to watch the closest, as whenever you see those green colors, that indicates, anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour, especially those dark green colors that you see, which some of that also could be occurring up there in Maine too as well, but it's really going to be down there in Texas, all the way back down there into potentially Panama City Beach, Florida, which once again looks to potentially see those strongest wind gusts on Thanksgiving. Now, once again, this is still pretty far out, so things could still change a little bit, but like I said, though, this is definitely something to really watch closely for by the time we hand the Thanksgiving. And I do think the European model, which is what we're taking a look at right now, is going to be pretty accurate on this, on how exactly those winds will show up. But once again, though, things could still change quite a bit, so we'll let you know about that if that does happen. And then, not only are we expecting those winds, but let's also take a look at that temperature and precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And this is during the Thanksgiving time frame, from November 27th all the way to December 21st, including the November 28th time frame, which once again is Thanksgiving. And during that time frame, we could maybe see some big surges of cold air move on through as we hand the Thanksgiving, and even areas along the East Coast could see some below average temperatures, even areas along the West Coast. But look what happens there with the precipitation, because, even though we saw that bomb cyclone, we are actually expected to be below average by the time we head into Thanksgiving across much of the western United States. And I'm pretty sure this is probably going to extend a little bit farther out there, and including parts there Texas. I'm pretty sure this actually should extend a little bit far to the east, because when I looked at the models, there was a high pressure system dominating right here, and I didn't really see any storm systems moving on through that area as that high pressure system was dominating. So I do expect much of you guys to really stay dry by the time we head into Thanksgiving. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it very closely, as you know, we can't expect there to be drier than normal conditions, which, you know, is good news after that bum cyclone we had. We probably need a break after a couple feet of rainfall in some areas, but, you know, thankfully that, you know, will come down by the time we head into Thanksgiving. So I think most of you guys along the West Coast will have a great Thanksgiving, so let's hope for that. And then for the 8 to 14 day outlook, a little bit similar, as we are still expecting there to be some pretty well below average temperatures. It's just that some of that stronger cold air, meaning more below average temperatures, are appearing to be likely across the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and as well as into the Mid-Atlantic, and, you know, maybe even parts there of the Mid-Mississippi Valley, likely to see some of that cold air as it will just surge on in like this. So you guys can definitely expect there to be quite a chilly late November and early December. Now this is kind of more after Thanksgiving, but, you know, if you guys, you know, are going to be doing anything after Thanksgiving, or, you know, even having a late Thanksgiving, this is something that you probably you know, need to know by this point. And, you know, precipitation does look to continue to be below average across a pretty good portion there of the West Coast. Does start to become more below average though across parts there of the lower Ohio Valley into the Mid-Mississippi Valley by the time we head into late November and early December. And that could be, you know, a similar situation for those areas down there in Texas. But the areas that we are expecting to see above average would be up here towards the Northern Plains and Northern Rockies, and as well as down here towards the southern United States, which does include parts there of the South and Southeast. So, you know, it's definitely something to really keep an eye on closely by the time we head, like I said, into late November and early December, which I also was forecasting to have my winter forecast come out during that time. But like I said, guys, because I finished it so quickly, I'm expecting it to come out tomorrow. So once again, make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell if you haven't already, so that way you guys can stay tuned for my winter forecast. And I'm really excited for it because, you know, I think after all of what we saw so far this November, I think that gives some really good ideas on what this winter could really play out. So like I said, make sure to stay tuned for that if you haven't already. And then let's now go ahead and look at the total snowfall and the precipitation. Starting off with the total snowfall, there's anywhere from now all the way to November 29th, and as you guys can see, we are expecting maybe some higher elevation snowfall across this area. Now this isn't going to be on Thanksgiving, this is going to be more during, you know, the weekend and even into early next week, because like I showed you guys on the GFS model, I just got to go back so I can show you guys that. See how there is no snow occurring back here across the western United States on this model? So like I said, guys, that does not mean we're going to see snowfall on Thanksgiving. This just means we're going to see snowfall, you know, well before Thanksgiving, like this weekend and even into early next week and maybe even midweek, but it should calm down before Thanksgiving across that area. So make sure to keep that in mind if you do live across the western United States. So, you know, you guys don't need to get too hyped up about it, about having a lot of snowfall this Thanksgiving, but definitely be ready these next few days, and like I said, maybe even into early and mid next week for some potential heavy snowfall across much of the higher elevations, and then things should start coming down pretty dramatically as we head into Thanksgiving. So like I said, make sure to keep that in mind if you do live across the west. For the East Coast, however, this is going to be a little bit different story for you guys because you guys are actually expected to see snowfall on Thanksgiving. As like I said with that model when we took a look at it, it did show, some pretty big snow on the northern side of that system with rainfall on the southern side of that system. And, with that snowfall on the northern side of that system, look at St. Louis, Missouri. You guys could really be seeing quite a bit of snowfall potentially getting up toward there towards 8 inches. And I did have a friend that asked me, about some snowfall in St. Louis, Missouri. And whoever did tell me that, you guys, are really expected to see some pretty good snowfall across St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm excited for that because, I actually wasn't really expecting a ton of snowfall on Thanksgiving. But now that this model run changed, we can really expect there to be some now. So definitely get ready for that, my friend. And even parts there of New England will also likely get some, snowfall too as well. Heading from Maine all the way back down there into the Appalachian Mountains. And if you're wondering about Indiana and Ohio, you guys could maybe see a couple inches of snowfall like what you guys saw yesterday. But I don't think it's going to be anything as bad as what, areas farther to the west like St. Louis will see. But you guys will still be at risk for a heavy snowstorm, possibly even a winter storm by the time we head into Thanksgiving. As, like I said, a couple inches to possibly even up there towards 4 inches of snow will be possible across the northern and central Ohio Valley, all the way up there into the mid-Atlantic and as well as the northeast. And then for the precipitation, a lot of that snowfall will definitely, be considered as rainfall, but areas far down to the south, like this area, we are expecting the south and southeast to once again have that potential for a couple of thunderstorms and even some widespread rainfall by the time we head into Thanksgiving. You guys in Florida actually look to stay mainly dry, so you guys in Florida might not really have to worry about any of this rainfall. There's a chance a couple of showers can make it on into that area, but I don't see any signs of that happening, at least as of right now. So, we'll watch you guys in Florida closely for some shower and rain activity this Thanksgiving, but like I said, I just don't really see any signs of that happening as of right now. So I think you guys will have just the same Thanksgiving as what we are expecting along the West Coast Thanksgiving, where you guys are expecting sunny and drier than normal conditions. So, we'll keep an eye on it as we head into Thanksgiving, but as of right now, still a little iffy on what exactly we'll see. But like I said, though, we'll definitely keep an eye on it closely. Let's now go ahead. This is the funnest part of the video, by the way. Let's now go ahead and take a look at my Thanksgiving forecast for 2024, and this does look quite interesting after looking at the models. Now I know I didn't show you guys everything that I looked at to figure out the Thanksgiving forecast, but I did take a look at a lot of different models and just a lot of other things to really figure out how the Thanksgiving could play out. And starting off with this red color, you guys are expecting that potential for a winter snowstorm, including St. Louis, Missouri, back into parts there of maybe as far west as Kansas City, into Iowa, back into parts there of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, into Ohio, into the mid-Atlantic, and especially the Northeast, which looks to be the areas to watch the closest for potential winter storm this Thanksgiving. Now, keep in mind that things, on what exactly we'll see with this winter storm are still uncertain because there's a few things that could happen. Because either this moves a little bit far down to the south and we see more snowfall across the lower Ohio Valley all the way up there into the mid-Atlantic and New England, or it stays about where it is and it brings snowfall to both the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and all the way into the Mid-Atlantic, as well as New England, and perhaps even parts there of the Ohio Valley. So that's kind of, still a little iffy at this point, but that's about what we expect to see. So because, of a possible shift in that, winter storm track, that's why I kind of expanded that red color a little bit far down to the south to include you guys in the lower Ohio Valley, which doesn't mean you guys will or won't see a snowstorm. It just means storms, there's a chance, especially if that track, like I said, shifts far down to the south. So we will keep an eye on it. For you guys in the red color, you guys probably are also going to be the area to see the most extreme weather this Thanksgiving, so we'll definitely watch it very closely for you guys. But even areas far down to the south are also expected to see quite a bit of precipitation. We're talking the potential for both rain and storms, as that line of cold air will pretty much, I don't think that's exactly where it is, but it's going to be more about right here where that cold line, is, and that's going to allow for most of that snow to be rain by the time it makes it down there into the south and southeast. So, we'll keep an eye on it closely, but like I said, though, I'm not really seeing any signs of rainfall for, like, Florida, as you guys are likely going to stay dry, but any other areas in the south and southeast will probably get on some of that rain and storm activity, so we'll keep an eye on you guys closely. And then for the central United States, we are expecting there to be some cold conditions, as when we did take a look at the Climate Prediction Center, we saw that a lot of that cold air was surging on down. And at the same time, we could also maybe see a little bit of snowfall. I don't think it's really going to be a ton. You guys are probably also going to stay mostly dry too as well, but it's definitely enough to where I would definitely keep an eye on it closely if I were you, so definitely make sure to be watching. And then for our last area, this is our yellow color. For much of the western United States, we are going to likely stay mostly dry, as we will have a massive high pressure system, which is what that H is right there, dominating much of the west, keeping any storms from the west coast surging on in, or even any storms from the north surging on in, which will likely keep much of that yellow area pretty dry this winter, or not this winter, but this Thanksgiving. So, we'll definitely watch it very closely, guys. Still remains a little bit uncertain, because I wouldn't rule out a little bit of higher elevation snow this winter, but that would be very isolated, if any. So like I said, we'll keep an eye on you guys in the yellow color, especially as you guys, probably will see the most best Thanksgiving this year. But, unfortunately, though, it does look like some things could still change, like I said. So we'll keep an eye on it, but we'll let you guys know if anything does change. So like I said, make sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so that way you guys don't miss out on any other Thanksgiving forecasts during this video. And once again, I do appreciate you guys getting me up there towards 700 subscribers, and you guys are already on track of getting up me getting up there towards 800 subscribers. So if you guys will continue subscribing, that would be great. And like I said, leave a like down below, because that will also be helping out a lot. And of course, leave any questions, comments, or concerns that you guys have. You guys can even ask any questions about this Thanksgiving, as long as it's respectful. And I hope you guys all have a great Friday, and even as we head into Thanksgiving, I hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving, and travel should be safe for you, and I hope it is. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.